Hey guys, Mark McKillier here with liveanabolic.com. And guess what? I want to talk to you about how to get rid of that ugly gut. All right, so guys, I got a little cheat sheet here because there's so many really interesting things that you can do. And there's not a single answer to getting rid of your gut. All right, so as we get older, we need to learn all these little tricks. When you were young, it was no problem. You could drop that fat real easily, but for several reasons, and one of which is our declining testosterone production as we get older. It sucks, but it happens to everybody. It happens to me. All right. And so when your testosterone drops as you get older, and it drops every year, it never really stops, it makes it harder and harder to get rid of fat and to build muscle. So there's several things you can do. I have a list of 6 things actually that I want to talk to you about. And every one of these things adds up, okay? So you need to do them all. Their cumulative effect is really much more than the sum of the parts. All right, so the first thing, guys, fat around your stomach, your gut, is the worst place to store fat. And I don't mean just, from a physical or a visual perspective, okay? I'm talking about from health reasons. So guys tend to store fat. It's just genetic. We tend to store fat around our waist much more. Women tend to store it more around their hips and their ass. All right, but it's bad when it's around your stomach. It really increases your possibility of getting type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. It's bad for all kinds of things, guys. So it's not just the looks. We've got to get rid of that gut. So here are some things. Now, a lot of these things you probably know if you really stopped and think about it, okay? But I'm here basically just to remind you and just to poke you in the chest every once in a while. Slap you up against the head because you need that every once in a while, okay? If you know it and you ignore it, that's on you, all right? So a lot of this has to do with nutrition and food, and I've said this before, but food and what we put in our mouths is one of the few things that we have total control over every day. All right, so let's start off with a real easy one, sugar. Guys, all right, so you're not supposed to eat sugar, right? Well, let me tell you, that is a killer. And it's a real easy one to cut out of your diet. So if you are one of those guys that thinks that, having 1 or 2, Cokes or Dr. Peppers or whatever it is, sweet drink every day, no big deal, that really adds up. For some reason, people think if you're drinking, the calories don't count. And I kind of understand it, You feel like calories are just in big, dense food. They're in your liquid. So it's not just the soft drinks you need to cut out. It's the fruit juices. Oranges. If you're eating whole fruit like an orange or an apple or grapes, great. Has a lot of fiber in it and it's not real dense in fructose. But when you eat or drink, fruit juices, killer. Those things are super concentrated with tons of fructose. And then sometimes they even add refined sugar to it. So no more orange juice, guys. Cut out the apple juice, cut out the grape juice. If you don't believe me, look on the back of the bottle. See how many calories, see how many grams of sugar are in those things. It's crazy. It'll blow you away. So cut out all that sugar, guys, all right? Another thing is the alcohol, all right? Look, I like to drink. I got some buddies coming over tonight. It's Friday night. We got this kind of bachelor thing going at my house every Friday, and I'm gonna have a drink. So I'm not some fuddy-duddy that says you can never drink for the rest of your life. You can drink. Keep it to a minimum, guys, all right? Don't do it every night. I have buddies of mine, they're married, they come home every single night and have a bottle of red wine. Their wife likes to drink, they like to drink, and they just drink a bottle. And I don't mean, a bottle between the two of them. I'm talking about the guy drinks, 4 glasses and the wife drinks 1 glass. That adds up so fast, guys. And so it's not just the calories that are killing you when you drink alcohol on a regular basis, but alcohol messes up your metabolism a little bit and it screws up your body's ability to synthesize protein and convert it into muscle. So if you were working out earlier that day, then you're not gonna get as much bang for your buck. Your muscles are not gonna recover and grow back as efficiently, okay, as if you were not drinking alcohol. Trust me, guys, those bodybuilders, those physique guys, you know, that you see, and I don't mean just the crazy steroid, I mean just the normal guys that are at the gym that are just ripped and looking great. Those guys really avoid alcohol, especially if they're going to do a contest. I did a contest years and years ago. I did a couple of them, matter of fact. And let me tell you, my coach at the time was like, you do not touch a drop of alcohol for the next 2 months. And it was tough, but it's okay. You can do it. All right, guys, eat more protein. That's number 2. Protein is probably the most important macronutrient, okay, when it comes to losing weight. Now, what are the macronutrients? Protein, carbohydrates, and fat, okay? So protein is important because when you eat it, it really does kind of make you feel full, okay? It makes you feel satiated. It's almost like fiber, okay? It makes you feel really full and satiated. It tends to, there's been some studies, and I was doing research on this, okay? There's some studies out there that say that increasing your protein to 25 to 30% of your total calories, okay, on a daily basis, really reduces your cravings by up to 60%. And then also, it takes more energy of your body to digest protein. So you'll actually burn roughly 100 extra calories per day if you increase your protein intake. All right, now 100 calories is not much, right? But when you add it with all these other little suggestions, it starts adding up. And then, it's not just by day, we're talking about every week. And 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So you can start to see here, if we can just cut out 500 calories a day times 7 days a week, that's your pound, that's your 3,500 calories. And, you think, well, man, that was, I only lost a pound this week. That's a lot. That's great. All right. So 12 pounds a month. Oh, excuse me. That's 4. That's 4 pounds a month. Okay. That's 50 pounds a year. That is a lot, guys. And then a lot of you guys will be able to double that easily. A lot of you guys, when you start adding the exercise and all these other things that I'm going to tell you about, a lot of you guys can do 2 pounds a week, especially at first, okay? And then as you drop the weight, as you become leaner and leaner and your body fat drops, it becomes harder and harder to lose that next pound of fat. Trust me, I'm there. All right, guys. So I want you to shoot for 25 to 30% of your total calories every day in the form of protein. And so, proteins, we're talking about, eggs and fish, seafood, legumes, beans, okay? Nuts, meat, and dairy. All right, so all that stuff is fantastic for you. Now, when you're doing the eggs and the dairy, be careful. It's got a lot of protein in it, but it also has a lot of fat. Now, I'm fine with some fat. Your body needs fat to produce testosterone. I'm going to get back to that here in a minute. That's kind of a recurring theme you're going to hear from me. So you do need some fat, but don't overdo it with too much cheese and too much milk, okay? Eggs are fantastic. The yolk is what has all the fat in it. So if you want, and you're eating, you're making an omelet, you might go with, say, 1 whole egg and 2 or 3 egg whites. So you're getting plenty of fat with that 1 egg yolk, but you're getting only protein with the egg whites, okay? Save you a ton of calories, plus you're getting all that great protein in there, which makes you feel full. It takes more calories to digest. It's kind of a win-win. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Cut your carbs. All right, so we want to increase our protein and decrease our carbs. All right, so when you start cutting out all those sugary drinks and that alcohol, like I talked about in tip number 1, that's going to also obviously reduce your carb intake. All right, so the other things is get rid of some of these unnecessary carbs. Bread is an obvious. Breads and rolls and stuff like that, muffins, bagels. Those things kind of, it's not exactly like eating refined sugar because its glycemic index is lower, which means it takes your body a little bit longer to digest than just pure refined sugar, which causes a big blood sugar rise, and then it causes your insulin to spike, and then when your insulin spikes, your blood sugar crashes and you get tired, and it's a real mess. Okay, So we want to eat foods that take a while to digest and that keeps our blood sugar level real nice and consistent, and it doesn't screw up our insulin levels, okay? So cut out those carbs. And you know, one of the things that when I was researching this is, for some reason, and scientists aren't exactly sure why, they just know there's a correlation, that low carbs diets tend to reduce the fat in your gut, your belly area, faster than it reduces the fat in other parts of your body. So you cannot spot reduce fat with exercise, all right? So if you want to get rid of your gut, you know, big old belly, you can't just do a ton of crunches or a bunch of core stuff. That's not going to make the fat go away. But for some reason, reducing your carb intake will actually affect the fat around your stomach quicker, sooner than the fat in other parts of your body. That's kind of a nice benefit of cutting your carbs. And I've shot some other videos about carbs, and you can just reduce them. You can do carb cycling. There's all kinds of cool ways you can do this you can do intermittent fasting, which is another technique of messing with when you eat your carbs, okay? So go back and look at some of those videos where I really get into the nitty-gritty details, okay, of how to manipulate your carb intake. All right, let's move on to number 4. This is an easy one, guys. Eat more fiber. All right. So one of the things you need to do is just kind of educate yourself. You don't need. This is a one-time deal. Once you learn what has a lot of carbs and what has a lot of fat and what has a lot of fiber, you're done. You learn it once, and then from now on the rest of your life, you know what to avoid and what you can eat a lot of. So why do we want to eat a lot of fiber? And what has a lot of fiber? Well, of course, fruits and vegetables. Vegetables, guys. And don't look at me and say, oh, I don't like vegetables. Tough shit. All right, learn to like them. And you can prepare vegetables in different ways that make them taste, really good. All right, seasoning. You can season the hell out of your vegetables. Seasoning has got 0 calories. That's a great way to do it. All right, vegetables have some calories, but so little. The number of calories in most vegetables is so low that you can eat vegetables all day long and take in very, very, very few calories. Plus the fiber with those vegetables makes you feel really full and satiated, okay? So it takes your body longer to digest foods that have a lot of fiber in it, which means they stay in your stomach longer, means your stomach is full, means you don't have those food cravings. So, vegetables and fruits have a lot of fiber in them. Legumes, which are beans, all right? Lots of fiber, okay? And then some cereals. Now, I'm not, I don't make any money by plugging this, guys. I want you to take a look at this real quick. This is a company called Kashi, and they make, 5 or 6 different flavors of cereals, and all of their flavors are good. They got great macros. This one is the best. And this is probably the best all-around healthiest cereal by a long shot on the market. Now, if you guys find something better, post a comment. I want to know about it. But I've spent hours in the grocery store looking at every damn box. This thing has 12 grams of protein and 13 grams of fiber. Now, if you don't really pay attention, you don't know if that's a lot or a little, right? But once you start looking at these labels, you're going to realize that is a lot. That's a great amount of protein for just a little bowl of cereal. Okay, I think it's just a cup, 1 serving. That's not much. I probably eat a cup and a half of this every morning. And that's a lot of fiber. Man, I'm digging this fiber. This stuff works fantastic, guys. Get on a routine. I eat this stuff every single morning. So fiber, fantastic. And then finally, all right, guys, number 5. And I should say finally, but I got one more after that. Exercise. Okay, that's a no-brainer, right? Well, what the hell? We can do cardio or we can do resistance training. All right, so if you watch my previous videos, you know that I'm a big, big advocate of resistance training. Now, cardio's fine. I really do want you guys to do cardio, okay? But weightlifting is more important, especially for us guys that are getting older. And that's because our testosterone levels are dropping, like I said, And lifting weights is another way to trick our body into ramping up its production of testosterone. So there's two things going on here. We store a lot of fat, okay? Fat has an enzyme in it called aromatase. And you may not know what that does, but aromatase converts testosterone into estrogen. That sucks. So we're already producing less and less testosterone because we're getting older. And then we got this big belly that's got all these enzymes called aromatase that takes what little testosterone we're making and converts it into estrogen. Well, what does estrogen do? Estrogen makes you retain water, and it makes your body hold on to fat more easily. It's a double whammy. All right, so guys, high testosterone levels makes your body more efficient at metabolizing fat for energy. So if you have high testosterone, your body just naturally likes to burn fat as a source of energy. All right? And when you have low testosterone, it's the exact opposite. Your body doesn't like to use fat for energy. It likes to store fat, okay? And so this is what happens, guys. When we start getting fat, we start getting this gut, we create a downward reinforcing spiral. So the more fat we have, the less testosterone we produce. The less testosterone we produce, the more fat we put on, and the more muscle we lose. All right? So more testosterone means we can build muscle. Muscle burns calories. Looks good too. Feels good. All right, so guys, very, very important, guys. So exercise, and when I say exercise, I would, if you only have time for one or the other, do resistance training. Because lifting weights sends signals to your brain to ramp up your body's natural production of testosterone. Why? Because it uses testosterone to help repair those damaged muscle fibers that you messed up when you were lifting weights. When I say mess up, we intentionally are damaging those muscle fibers. We're not really messing them up. It's on purpose. So the more we damage those muscle fibers, the more intense our workout is. The heavier the weight, the more sets we do, the more reps we do, the longer the workout, the more damage we do, the more testosterone our body produces. And that's one of the reasons why, hitting leg weights is so important, because it's the biggest muscle group in your body, right? So you're damaging tons more muscle fibers when you're working your legs than when you're working your biceps. It looks good, but it's really a small muscle. All right. So legs, resistance training really helps with the testosterone production. Okay. And then finally, guys, and this is kind of I say a no-brainer, but this is a tougher one for you to have control over, and that is sleep. All right. So you have no excuse when it comes to food and what you're eating, okay? It doesn't take any longer to eat healthy than it does to eat crappy. It really doesn't, okay? Don't give me that, I can only go through the drive-in, the fast food place, blah, 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 blah. You can still go to the grocery store and pick up a pre-made sandwich, okay? That's really healthy for you. Now, it's got bread, right? It's only got 2 slices of bread, okay? It's all the stuff in between those 2 slices that's important, turkey, chicken, lean beef, like a roast beef. They got tons of protein, very little fat, and you put the lettuce and tomatoes and the onions on there. Fantastic for you, okay? All right, so sleep, why is that important? Well, guess what, guys? When you don't get enough sleep, your body is stressed, and you know that, okay? You just feel like crap. Well, what does stress do? It increases a hormone in our body called cortisol, all right? And I'm always going back to all these hormones, and it's important. Most people don't even really think about it. They just think about food and exercise. Well, there's still a lot of stuff going on internally. And so cortisol is a stress hormone. And high levels of cortisol mean, once again, that we can't produce as much testosterone. So we got a couple of things. Cortisol reduces our body's ability to produce testosterone. And then the aromatase enzyme in fat also reduces our body's ability to produce testosterone because it takes testosterone and it converts it into estrogen, which is a fat holding hormone. So guys, I understand the sleep is tougher, okay? because sometimes you have no choice about when you go to bed and when you wake up. You know, that's work related. There may be family related stuff. There may be emergency related stuff, but still, one day ain't gonna hurt you. But I'm talking about day after day, week after week. You need to force yourself, okay, to try to get more sleep. And this is one of the things that I'm not always that great about. Sometimes I'm just sitting there watching TV and I'm not real tired, and I'll just look, and all of a sudden it's midnight and I'm like, God, what an idiot. You know, I didn't accomplish anything with that last hour in front of the TV set, but guess what? I'm gonna be tired tomorrow when I wake up because I still have to get up at the same time. So anyway, guys, those are the 6 really straightforward, okay, examples on how to get rid of your gut. And there's a lot of science, okay, and a lot of biology behind what I'm telling you, but you don't need to really know the details. You just need to know the big picture, okay? So guys, please listen to what I'm saying. I promise you it's gonna work. And if you like this video, be sure and share it with some of your buddies, because I guarantee you all you guys out there have got tons of overweight friends, just like I do, all right? They would benefit from a lot of these videos on our YouTube channel. And then hit that little like button, post some comments below, and then finally, guys, be sure and subscribe to this channel. See, they're coming right now. Come on in, man. All right, guys, and remember, it doesn't happen overnight. You gotta always stick with it and never give up on yourself.